good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Relationship Tuesday, and we're here to open your mind. Good life, good life, in a different lane. The Good Life Radio Show is brought to you by Gentilly Italian Pie at 4706 Paris Avenue, and today is $2 Tuesdays on tap. So make sure you check out Gentilly Italian Pie, 4706 Paris Avenue. They are home of the Family Happy Hour. That means $5 wings, $5 personal pizzas, $5 drink specials. That is every Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Y'all know when y'all pick up the kids at 3, you don't always feel like cooking, and you know they're always hungry. So make sure you drive past Gentilly Italian Pie. They have dine-in or takeout, so you can pick it up and go right home. 4706 Paris Avenue, Gentilly Italian Pie, home of the Family Happy Hour. $5 wings, $5 personal pizza, $5 drink specials. And today is Tuesday on tap. So while you're there, getting your food, getting it to go, you can get a draft beer, $2. Make sure you visit them. It's dine-in or carry out, 504-826-9180. 504-826-9180, because that is the good life. I am sitting here today with my partner in opening people's mind to different levels of relationships.
You don't say crime.
Henry Jolly. It may be crime in a little while, because we had a very, very interesting conversation. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Yeah. And we actually, John Slade has a show right after me, and we were all sitting in the conference room having this conversation about this, how, I don't even know how to say this nicely, how arguments escalate. Yeah. As an example with the shooting of Will Smith this past weekend. But we will get into that just a little bit, because our show today is on human nature.
Right.
Competitiveness. Open your mind. Why we always got to compete with each other?
Human nature.
Thank you, Henry. Yeah. Being competitive in our academic, working, and personal lives can be good for achieving success and moving into the ranks of glory and glamour. Competitive attitudes can help you to feel energized, able to take on challenging tasks, and ready to achieve many things in life. However, competitive behavior that is not considerate of your well-being or well-balanced in its application can take its toll, leading to self-destruction and perhaps ostracizing the very people that you care about the most. By aiming to be competitive in a dignified way that respects the needs of others, is considerate of your own well-being, and displays controlled ambition, which will help to ensure a more fulfilling and healthy success. How many of y'all out there compete with your significant other, your spouse, your partner, your best friend, or, just the person you're dating? Oh, look, I got a new purse. Oh, I got to go get a new purse too. Right. Oh, I got a new watch. Oh, I got to go get a new watch too. Oh, I got a new car. Oh, I got to go get a new car. How many of y'all do that, consciously or subconsciously? Why are we competing against each other? Is it human nature? It seems a little bit so. But is it something that we're supposed to be learning to be able to overcome and, be able to grasp a handle on while we're on this earth? Because obviously we're supposed to be learning some things, and I think that's one of them. I have Henry Jolly, my relationship therapist, to my right. I have Dr. Brian Turner. He has some infused tea right here. He must be sharing this morning. To my left. So this is the good life this morning, y'all. Human nature, competitiveness. Why do we feel the need to compete? Henry.
I think if you're too competitive, it could do one or two things. One, it could work as a positive thing. It can motivate you to want to be better than you are already. Or two, it can cause you to be a hater and be negative. If you look at it in competition in sports, somebody that's too competitive, they may say, well, you know what, maybe I need to get a competitive edge. Maybe I need to do something negative
and they start
to result into a positive.
Maybe stuff in their arms.
Maybe doing steroids, maybe injuring illegally. illegally injuring their opponent.
Oh, and I have something to say. I'm glad you said that because this happens in Little League sports, and that's just a ridiculous thing. I'm not kidding. Like, we're talking about, like, football where they're going at children's knees and chins and stuff. Y'all, come on now. If y'all, and somebody's nodding their head right now, if y'all are a coach at a playground or you have children, be considerate. These are all children. This is somebody's child. This is God's child. And y'all are going at children's knees. Is it really that serious?
But
y'all a little bit too These are children.
I understand.
And what are we teaching the children because you're teaching them to do it?
It's life lessons being taught early. I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world. So, I mean,
when you're at the hospital with your child, you're going to be real upset.
Oh, look, my kids are 3 and 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Yeah, so born. I mean, I'm paying attention and watching closely, but I'm gonna definitely teach them. Look, protect yourself and do what you got to do legally, though.
Yes.
Legally, yeah.
Legally.
Yeah.
Dr. Turner.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good. Oh, look at him with his voice.
No, he coming on with the sexy flexy
voice, right?
You can call it what you want. 6 to 8 inches of snow in Ohio will get you sick if you're not used to it.
Oh, that's where you are?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm glad to be back in the South. But I think there's two sides to the idea of competition in terms of humanity. One is the competitive nature that we all demonstrate to survive. So if you think about it, there's basically the instinct for all human beings to survive, and that's the competitive spirit to do your best, to strive for better, which is healthy. And then I think there's the competitive nature that arises out of what a lot of psychological theorists, really get at in terms of the psychological disorders is that if things are not going well, if things don't seem to be going the way you want, then it increases one's potential for negative behaviors.
Right.
So I might engage in competitive acts or what I might think is competitive acts, but it might be actually detrimental to my survival and could bring about the demise of those around me as well. So when I think of competition, is it necessarily a bad thing? No. I mean, it is the thing that I use every day to get up and seek a better life. It's the thing I use amongst my brothers when we joke and we clown. It's the ideal of having the desire to survive and to thrive. But I think you got to watch when you're competing against things that can actually be detrimental to your health and your life.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a real scientific definition of competition. So technically, competition in biology and sociology is a contest between two or more organisms, animals, individuals, groups, etc., for territory, a niche, for a location of resources, for goods, for mates, for prestige, for recognition, for awards, for group or social status, i.e. leadership. Competition is the opposite of cooperation. I might need to repeat that. Competition is the opposite of cooperation. It arises whenever at least two parties strive for a goal which cannot be shared or which is desired individually but not in sharing in cooperation. Competition occurs naturally between living organisms, animals, individuals, groups, humans, all of us. So competition occurs and we coexist in the same environment. So, for example, animals compete over water supplies, food, mates, and other biological resources. Humans usually compete for food and mates. Though when these needs are met, when they aren't met, rivalries often arise over the pursuit of wealth, prestige, and fame. Competition is also a major tenet of market economies, and business is often associated with competition, as most companies are in competition with at least one other firm over the same groups of customers. And also competition inside a company is usually stimulated for meeting and reaching higher quality of services or products, and that company produce or develop. So we can see competition as a good thing. It can be a good thing, with regards to just like economies and business and, growing certain things like that. But it's also knowing how to rein it in when you get out of control.
Right.
So when it starts to, rear its ugly head in your relationship, how would it work, Henry, if you and your wife were always competing?
I'm a quote Uche. You should only compete in the bedroom. So, I mean, it's constantly butting heads and clashing. That's.
Think about your twins.
Yeah.
There's only one of you, and now they're, kind of i.e., competing for attention with the new baby.
Right.
So, you know, that's a different dynamic. Is that, you know, something you have to work through or say, oh, yeah, it's cool, let's just compete for time?
No, you have, as a parent, you have to make sure that you're mindful of the time you're spending with each. You know, you don't want to show favoritism, and you have to try to, you know, set aside time for each one.
So everyone feels like their needs are fulfilled.
Right, and everybody's needs are different. That does not mean you treat them, you do the same thing for all of them. One may require certain attention in a different area than the other. So you just have to be mindful and aware as a parent.
But if we're not just talking about on the field of play, so if we're talking
about all
Right,
areas.
if we're going to be honest, competition on the field of play or court is born out of the ideal of what the nature of the game is. But if we talk about in life, I think competition, when it becomes detrimental, is born out of an anxiety or an unhealthy sense of self. So if I don't feel comfortable, so yes, if Henry has the twins, new kid, and he's taken care of, it's going to be Henry's job to ensure that each child feels loved, appreciated, and taken care of, so that it's not about competing with another sibling for his attention. It's like, I have my daddy time, I'm good, and I'm okay. But if one child in some way, shape, or form, because of Henry or his wife's actions, feels unloved, then that could potentially sow the seed of competition. Like, oh,
I'm going to show him.
Yeah, I got to get in here. I got to get in the space. And so, and even then, I think sometimes it can be playful, which is fine. If, like, we're all playing together and, you know, I'm on a team, then you got to make sure and switch up. So I'm going to be on a team right now, then every 15 minutes you switch up so that the teams are equitable, and you teach that. But if I'm unhealthy, then I'm going to seek out unhealthy ways to get attention. I'm going to compete in that way. So having been the target of unhealthy practices when I played, I remember thinking like, wow, dude. And then I'm realizing, well, it's probably because I've been beating this kid. So now it's like somebody has to do something, because you can't be addressed in a healthy, direct way.
Right.
So definitely when parents are teaching their kids that, probably because the parents were taught unhealthy competition.
Thank you.
So and it's pretty simple. If your kid's getting beat, then your kids just has to go to the gym. You have to work harder, and that's okay.
But how many times do we say that?
Well, but once again, unhealthy people are not going to practice healthy behavior.
Well, that's why we're opening people's mind to living differently in the world. It's perspective. If something isn't working for you, go work on that thing. You don't go attack somebody else because they already put the time in the gym, on the court, in the books, at school, or whatever the situation is. But too many times, instead of focusing on ourselves and realizing what we need to do to make ourselves whole, and so that we feel like, you know, we're full, we go attack somebody else.
Right.
Haters aren't born. Haters are made.
Haters are the results of your hard work, because they're not. And I guess it's hard to say even that, because, you know, you think about people put in unhealthy situations and what's the cause of that. So I was actually just talking about this in therapy with some folks. And, you know, if you think about it, if I become anxious or nervous, right, and I can't think clearly, right, or if I can't find a solution that works well for me, that's a good solution, then I want to reduce that anxiety. I want to reduce that nervousness. So I'm going to start doing anything and everything, right? I mean, even to the point you think about it, wounded animals in the wild will gnaw off or will bite off parts of their bodies to escape.
Yeah.
It's because of the impending anxiety of death. I understand that my demise is coming. What is better? I would rather live this life with an amputated limb and survive,
or held captive forever.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Besides dying.
Yeah.
And if you allude, or if you, you know, kind of make that same analogy to humans, people want to survive. I tell people all the time, I understand why young brothers do the things they do in the streets. I don't condemn young brothers for hustling or some of the criminal activities they do, because I kind of get the sense people are trying to survive. I will condemn the act. I mean, yes, maybe, you know, working for minimum wage or a little bit higher salary isn't the cool thing. But the reality of it is when people are trying to survive, they turn to what they know, whether it be healthy or unhealthy. So if I'm trying to get it and I'm anxious and nervous and I don't know how I'm going to eat, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
So what are we teaching them?
Well, I don't think we're failing young men. I mean, I have days where, or young women, I think I have days where I feel like we're winning and some days I feel like we're losing. But I feel on more days than not that we're winning.
Are their basic needs being met? Don't answer that, because we're going to take a quick break. We are here on Relationship Tuesday. We are opening your mind to living differently in the world. We're talking about human nature, competition. Are you competitive? How does that relate in your everyday life? Call us, 504-260-9265, 504-260-9265. We're going to take a quick break and we'll go to the lines. We'll be right back.
This is Leatrice Hollins, and I want to invite you to join OT and I every Tuesday from 2 to 3. We're going to talk about real estate investment, home ownership, and economic development. So we're not talking about just living. We're talking about better living, only on WBOK, where it's real talk for real times.
L&R Security keeps our family, friends, and event goers safe. And to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security Services is now hiring persons for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security Office at 504-943-3191. Fill out an application at L&R's office at 3930 Old Gentilly Road. That's New Orleans, Louisiana. To become one of the proud workers of L&R Security, the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, a completed work application, and criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be a driver's license, state ID, military ID, social security card, or other forms of picture ID. L&R Security is looking for qualified employees to assist in keeping the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival safe. They are looking for you. Again, contact them at 504-943-3191, 504-943-3191. L&R is always looking for armed and unarmed guards. If this is your profession, they're looking for you.
Gentilly Italian Pie is home to the $5 Family Happy Hour. Specials on pizza, wings, and drinks Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Gentilly Italian Pie does fresh for the entire family. Salads, pizza, pasta, wings, and oven-baked sandwiches. Gentilly Italian Pie offers lunch and dinner in a new, modern atmosphere surrounded by big screen TVs. Dine in or carry out by calling 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. Relax. Have a drink from the fully stocked bar or beer on tap while your order is made from the freshest ingredients. Gentilly Italian Pie, 4706 Paris Avenue, is home where everybody knows your name. So bring the family to Paris and Marabou for the $5 Family Happy Hour, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's Gentilly Italian Pie. Dine in or carry out. 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. You gotta try the pie. That's the original Italian pie, located at Paris and Marabou in Gentilly.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat.
This is Jonathan Wilson, president of 100 Black Men of New Orleans. 100 Black Men is an organization dedicated to the development of our youth with the objective of making them self-reliant, independent thinkers committed to excellence. We mentor young men and women to be productive citizens. 100 Black Men supports health and wellness initiatives and promotes economic empowerment for our people. We call for the unification of public schools as a first step in ensuring quality education for our children. We urge you to join with us to make sure that New Orleanians control the destiny of our youth and that policies are created to ensure transparency, equity, and accountability for all. A true story of resilience should conclude with a single high-performing school district governed by local citizens. Contact the 100 Black Men at 208-9337 to join our efforts. Thank you.
This is Attorney Hester Hilliard with the Hilliard Law Firm. Is your home in foreclosure? Are your bills piled so high that you can hardly see your way through? Does your family or friend have a pending criminal charge and they need a lawyer they can trust? And what about your property? Who will receive your assets or take care of your children in the event of your death? If you have concerns, we have answers. The Hilliard Law Firm offers professional legal representation, and we're here to help you, whether you need assistance with bankruptcy, foreclosure defense, criminal defense, wills or estate planning, successions, child support, or child custody. Call the Hilliard Law Firm at 504-729-6133 or visit our website at www.hilliardlaw.com. Don't wait or procrastinate. Your help is only a phone call away. So call us today, 504-729-6133.
Okay, real talk for real times. Good night, hey. Good night, yeah. Good night,
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Relationship Tuesday, and we're here to open your mind. I just have to say this before I even talk about this sponsor. It is just so interesting. So just listen to my sponsor today. The Good Life Radio Show is brought to you by Morris Reed Jr. If you have been hit in a car accident or charged with a crime, contact morrisreedjr.net online. The Morris Reed Jr. Law Firm is a full-service law firm that fights vigorously to get you the money you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or you have been charged with a crime, contact Morris Reed Jr. and let their experienced, highly qualified attorneys provide you with the expert legal help today. Call 504-488-HELP. That's 504-488-4357. 504-488-4357, because that is the good life. You can find Morris Reed Jr. online at morrisreedjr.net. And yes, after the car accident or the crime, reach out to your attorney. You see the chain of events?
Yep.
We'll talk about that in a little while.
Yep.
So, going back to what we were discussing right before the break, we were talking about, are our needs being met? And that's where the competition comes in, because you aren't having a need met. And it's generally because it's something that you need to fill up inside. Because if you're full, Brian, if you feel like you're a man, right, and you're good, somebody walking down the street is not going to take that away from you because you're good. But if you're insecure with who you are and there's a bigger guy walking down the street, and you're insecure with yourself, you may look at him crazy. But guess what? That's not his problem. That's your problem. And so are we feeding our children? Why are you laughing? You already know I'm going with
thinking
this.
about something funny. Like, some things you really can't compete with. Like, for example, if you're a guy that's 5'5", okay, 140 pounds, and you confront a guy who's 6'5", 300 pounds, certain things, you can't look at that guy and say, man, F that man. I wish I was tall and big. Listen, you're not tall and big. Be happy with who you are. Be content and comfortable with who you are. You need to learn to love yourself. You can't always, want to compete with every little thing in life. I mean, some things you can't compete with. You know what they tell you. You can't teach size. Remember they tell you that?
You can't teach heart.
God gives everybody different gifts. So what are you competing over?
Right. So, I mean, certain things, you have to just totally be like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm who I am, and that's that.
Eileen, it's interesting you asked the question, what are we teaching our kids? But
what are we teaching our kids, Dr. Turner?
I think the fulfillment of that thought process is both what are we teaching, but what also is competing for what we teach our children. So in many spaces, I think we have abdicated that educational process to others. You have parents, you have communities, you have society who have allowed media, music, celebrities, and other persons who clearly have their own motivational objectives to do what they do, but they have become, in essence, the surrogate parents to a lot of our children. So when we see our children taking on behaviors and attitudes in these positions that we feel are antithetical to who we are, and then we want to say, well, you know, it's not my job, or even when situations arise where kids do come from pretty well backgrounds and they engage in, you know, these self-defeating or these, you know, problematic behaviors, the reality of it is we have to reestablish the foundation of, like, humanistic values. And once again, reiterating the point, if a person is put into a situation and they're anxious or nervous, they don't feel comfortable, and what they normally do, either try to speak peaceably, either, you know, they attempt to reconcile, or if they're trying to diffuse the situation, when those things don't work, that's where we find people will engage in behaviors that may not normally be who they are. So, of course, if I'm normally a mild-mannered guy at 5'5" and I'm chill, if a guy at 6'5" puts me in a bad position, I might go ahead and take that L, because I've been put in a position where my normal demeanor of, like, being cool and calm and collected, that's not working for me. And I think we missed that. So, yes, what does it mean? Like, we got all of this stuff going on about bullying. You know, we have laws being passed that discriminate against people openly. We have politicians who call for the outright, like, beating of people. I mean, if that's what's going to happen, then how do we have a society?
This is our society. Exactly.
Right. So it comes back to, well, I could teach my kid, you know, the old adage, if somebody, my mom never said this. She just kind of let it be what it was in a lot of ways. But if somebody hits you, hit them back. Well, what really are you teaching your child? And I know a lot of parents and kids who practice that now. So what are you really teaching your child if they hit you? Well, what if your child is irritating somebody, bullying them, and they decide to defend themselves?
Right.
Are we not teaching our children, and are we not teaching ourselves as adults to engage in healthy behaviors?
And conflict resolution.
Well, what is conflict resolution? Though people don't always see some stuff as conflict.
Refute not escalating things.
I understand what it is, but I'm saying there's a lot of people who they don't practice conflict resolution because they don't believe they have conflict. They look for it. They look for that drama.
That's the point.
Well, I'm not.
And so how many of us know people who look for conflict and they're doing it out of their competitive human nature because they're not full of themselves.
But I don't think that's a competitive human nature. I think that's an aberration of human nature when you go to look for conflict. So here's an analogy I use with this idea. And actually I'm teaching this in personality right now. We despise people who cheat and exploit the resources. And what we mean is if we live on an island and we know we have enough food to support the three of us right now. We live in this room. We put enough food in here that we know how long it'll take for us to survive. Well, if Henry starts to steal a little bit extra and he starts to collude to get extra for himself.
So that's what you do on commercial break, Henry?
Sometimes.
At some point, you and I, Eileen, have to say, look, man, you're wrong. Like, that's not fair. So when people exploit and cheat the system, it's not easy to just go to Henry because Henry's, well, I wanted it. And if he feels he's warranted in what he does, he's going to want to defend himself. And so when we don't think as much about some of that connection, is that like he's cheating and exploiting the system. So where did he learn that? Maybe he decided he just wanted, however he got there. But if he doesn't want to have the reasonable conversation and say, well, you know, you all are right or whatever, we're stuck.
People justify things in their head.
Right.
You know, and that's where it
So then what
from.
does Eileen and I do when we try to confront you in a healthy way to say, hey, man, look, we're all in this together. You don't have to steal extra. But you keep wanting to do it.
First, I'd want to know why.
But what if I'm on a whole other level? What if I'm like, look.
It might matter.
What if you're on that mileage?
It might matter. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't change the way another person thinks. If I feel like I'm in the right.
I can open your mind.
You could try.
We do it every day.
Well, me being me, but I'm saying if I was just a hard-headed, knuckle-headed person, I say, you know what? Look, I do what I want. I stole it, so what?
What you gonna do?
Maybe y'all, what you gonna do?
You gonna take it from me?
That's it. So I mean, it's bigger than competition. I mean that's kind of how conflict arises. When
exactly.
When you
so
really look
so
at it.
you know, asking you that, I'm sure everyone has been in a situation where they've had somebody come at them with that type of response. What do you do? Or
I mean, sometimes you got to know when to fold them. You know, I've been in many of fights growing up. You know, none as a mature adult, but sometimes you have to know.
Oh, but wait, as a mature adult, go ahead.
As a mature adult, but sometimes you have to know when to fold them. You know, I have in my head a certain level I'll get to, and then I will not go further because I know
after that
what the consequences could be for me or that other person. Yeah. You know, so I'm like, you know what is that serious? Now, if it comes down to life or death,
you're gonna choose life. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, you know, it comes down to that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the rudimentary value of humanity is that 99.99999% of situations that involve conflict, I can walk away from it and not feel any less than.
Right.
I can be whatever.
How are you able to do that?
Because I was taught it. Because it was practice. Because it's been something that I chose to. But that's the point, right? Is that Henry, you, myself, and others have had different scenarios. And that's why I say I really did used to think, and some of this is the research I do and the work I do, I was one of those persons who used to think our black men were just destined for just awfulness and terrible and da. But when you really take a look at it, you find that when you have young men and women who are not provided or even given remote opportunities to be successful, then you live the life that's before you.
Thank you. So what aren't being met? Their needs aren't being met.
So when that was the question. So, and once again, even to that point, you can even find that some people will self-select to not choose a different path. So I think that's where, like I said, there's that healthy human competition and when it becomes unhealthy. So most times, if you give someone who's in a not so healthy situation an opportunity, they will probably take it.
Right.
If you can show them the path, that's what we do in therapy, that's what I do on campus, that's what we do in the good life. We're attempting to give and help and support and encourage people to take the best path possible to a healthy life. But there's going to be a segment of society. That's why another thing, like if you look at throughout history, there's always been that segment of society who will do, like I was giving an example, choose to be abnormal.
Right.
They will engage in behaviors that will be against humanity.
Right.
And everybody is going to get there when they get there. Everybody's going to get there at their own time. You can only, plant a seed. There are listeners out there, and if we can help you, wonderful. If we can't, if throw it on the wall, if it sticks, great. If it doesn't, it's going to roll down. Hopefully one day you may pick it back up. But that's not for me to decide. That's you on your path. And when you're ready to open your mind to live differently in the world, then you're ready. We talk about, when on Wellness Wednesday, when somebody's ready to lose weight, they're going to lose weight. When somebody's ready to get over an addiction, they're going to get over that addiction. But you have to let them get to that point. But that doesn't mean that you give up on them. And it doesn't mean that you stop trying to reach out and help them. We talk about love, compassion, understanding, and on The Good Life all the time, and that's what it's all about. So we want to open people's mind to living differently in the world. Human nature, there is a competitive nature, but at what point does it just become a problem? At what point do we need to start, realizing that this isn't good for me and it's not good for others?
Well.
And when I'm showing and what I'm teaching my child may not be the best way. And if I want to, change this cycle, I need to do better for myself, for my family, and for generations to come. For my city.
Well, you have to do your best to be clear-headed and level-headed as best as you can. We're talking about human nature in the competitive sense. A lot of it has to do with pride. I recall a situation I was in about 10 years ago. I was at a club. I had been drinking. I wasn't drunk, but I was a little tipsy. So I was still aware, but I knew. I better not run because I might fall. All right. So I know I was at that level. So I was leaving the club, and I had a female friend with me who was kind of, I would say, on the confrontational side. She was, kind of hood, and she was about that action. All right. So we leaving the club, and this guy is coming up the stairs, and we're walking down the stairs. And I said something stupid. I was thinking something, and I said it out loud, but I didn't realize I said it. So I said, man, look at this. I basically made fun of the dude to his face. But I did it in my head, but I said it out loud.
But it came out your mouth.
So I'm like, and he's like, man, what? I said, oh, man. I'm thinking to myself, I said that out loud. So I know I'm kind of tipsy. So I'm like, if we get in a fight, I know I'm about to get whooped because I can't even see my hand in front of my face. Like I'm a little, gone. So the chick I was with, she's like, boy, F you. She starts cursing at the dude. I'm like, man, let's just go.
Right.
And the dude kept talking, and we just left. So I say that to say, hey, my pride didn't get in the way of a sensible decision. I said, you know what? Hey, I said something stupid. I shouldn't have said it. And I just left. That was it. But I didn't feel like, oh, he played me in front of my girl and nothing like that. You just have to think.
Right.
Put it like
that.
Yeah.
So does pride, come into our conversations with human nature and competitiveness? We're going to jump into that when we get right back after the break. This is A Good Life, y'all. Stay tuned.
This is Leatrice Hollis, and I want to invite you to join OT and I every Tuesday from 2 to 3. We're going to talk about real estate investment, home ownership, and economic development. So we're not talking about just living. We're talking about better living, only on WBOK, where it's real talk for real times.
Are you satisfied with your current financial position? My name is Kenneth Barnes, President and CEO of KB Enterprises, where we specialize in putting together step-by-step financial action steps for your plan for today and for tomorrow. Whether you're 50 to 85 and need assistance with your final expenses, we have coverage options for every situation. Let us put life back into your finances. Call us today at 504-914-1202. That's 504-914-1202.
Frederick Douglass wrote, "It is easier to raise healthy children than to fix broken men." This is why Lil Dizzy's Cafe chooses to salute the 120 men of the Silverback Society for investing in themselves and leading the next generation of boys to a more respected, capable, and responsible manhood. Currently working with over 500 boys in 17 elementary schools in New Orleans, plus one in Biloxi, the Silverback Society's mission is to make sure every boy gets to learn the principles, methods, and pride of real manhood before entering high school. Founded in 2007 by Arthur Wadsworth and Lloyd Dennis, the Silverback Society has men from all walks of life, walking the walk, saturating our community with boys who are trained to think about and prepare for tomorrow. Lil Dizzy's Cafe is proud to acknowledge the leadership of these regular men who are doing extraordinary things. Together, this celebrated moment brought to you by Lil Dizzy's Cafe.
L&R Security keeps our family, friends, and event goers safe. And to do that job, they are looking for you. L&R Security Services is now hiring persons for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, armed and unarmed guards. All interested persons should contact L&R Security Office at 504-943-3191. Fill out an application at L&R's office at 3930 Old Gentilly Road. That's New Orleans, Louisiana. To become one of the proud workers of L&R Security, the minimum requirements are 18 years of age, a completed work application, and criminal background check, 2 forms of ID, whether it be a driver's license, state ID, military ID, social security card, or other forms of picture ID. L&R Security is looking for qualified employees to assist in keeping the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival safe. They are looking for you. Again, contact them at 504-943-3191. 504-943-3191. L&R is always looking for armed and unarmed guards. If this is your profession, they're looking for you.
You might think it's just another day, but at Metro Disposal, this is our day. For more than 25 years, Metro Disposal has been a vital resource for waste management in our community. With state-of-the-art equipment and technology, we are committed to providing a cleaner, safer, healthier environment. This is our community. This is Metro Disposal.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat.
Greetings, loyal listeners. I get a lot of callers seeking relationship advice. My advice? Go to AT&T. For a limited time when you buy one of their most popular smartphones, you get one free when you buy both on AT&T Next. Healthy relationships come from having things in common. Matching smartphones is a great start. AT&T, mobilizing your world.
For BOGO, buy select devices at regular price with eligible service and well-qualified credit. Free one requires new line with 30-month 0% APR contract with up to $21.67 a month payments. Get up to $650 in 30 bill credit starting in 3 bills. Tax due at sale if service canceled on one, that device balance due. Charges and restrictions apply. See store for details.
WBOK, New Orleans.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Relationship Tuesday, and we're here to open your mind. Good life, in a different land. The Good Life is April 21st at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The New Orleans Black Chamber of Commerce will be there having their 2016 annual meeting. Make sure you are there. There are only so many tables left. Yes, we are going to sell out this year. Make sure you are there. If you're a company and you want to buy a table, make sure you reach out, norbchamber.org. You can purchase your table right there online, norbchamber.org, norbchamber.org. They will have 2 keynote speakers, and with what's going on right now at the state legislature, every business I know needs to be there. You know, they had the conversation about equal pay. That's going on today because that is the good life. So make sure that your business is there. Make sure you're networking. Make sure you're growing. Make sure you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. Make sure you register, norbchamber.org, because the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce is having their 2016 annual meeting at the Hyatt Regency on Thursday, April 21st. 11:30. Be there. We'll be there because that's a good life. You know, we're going to make it happen. We're going to grow New Orleans. We're talking about, you know, our economy and all these other things. So let's put our, you know, our money where our mouth is. It's right. Like $65, y'all. Right. You know, it's a business write-off for some of y'all. So go handle your business right now online, norbchamber.org, because that is the good life. Now, our last and final segment with what's going on in the news. And what's crazy is I read a lot because that's just what you do as a producer and
Probably
stuff.
Shouldn't.
But y'all know this is like a national conversation now. Yeah. And it's not something I really want to talk about a lot, but like, because I was just like, I'm tired of negativity. I can't deal with it. Yeah. But it's like a national conversation. It's like on TMZ.
Yeah, I've seen it on ESPN,
right,
CNN.
It's everywhere. Yeah. And so we know what happened, but my thoughts were like, how can we, you know, change it a little bit? Because let me just give you the negative side of competition. On the negative side, competition can cause injury and loss, go figure, and drain valuable resources and energy. In the human species, competition can be expensive on many levels, not only in lives, like loss to war, physical injuries, and damaged psychological well-beings, but also in the health effects from everyday civilian life caused by work stress, long work hours, abusive working relationships, poor working conditions, all of these that detract from the enjoyment of life, even as such competition results in financial gain, for the owners. Open your mind to living differently in the world. So you know where this is going, because, we've been talking a little bit during our commercial breaks about this, and we have a little, different points of view. So I really kind of want to bring it to the forefront. So if you want to get your point of view on the Will Smith and Cordell Hayes incident, give us a call, 504-260-9265, because this is just my 2 cents. Forget who they are. We need to learn some conflict resolution.
Right.
In my opinion, it should have never gotten to the point where they were having a conversation. You had a car accident. And the first one, if y'all saw the video, was like a tap. Whether he knew that he hit them or not, if the person decides not to, pull over, why are you chasing somebody down? Get their license plate and keep it moving. If you really feel the need to follow a safe distance, call 911, say this person hit me and I'm following blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm going to teach my child when he drives. Isn't that what the police are supposed to do? Are they supposed to go on high-speed chase? No. Right? I'm just asking.
Right.
Okay. Now, why y'all quiet now?
I mean,
why y'all quiet now?
I'm quiet. We're getting different part of the conversation. You seem very passionate about your opinion about this.
And it is just my opinion. I'm sure people have.
It's your opinion.
It is.
Yeah.
Hashtag, it is just my opinion.
I mean, you seem like you want to put somebody in the
because
headlight.
I'm just for me and forget who they are. It's not about who they are. It's about that this is going on in everyday society, that we can't be, in my opinion, more reasonable about how we handle disagreements. I don't care if it's a disagreement with your spouse, with your child, with your employer, whoever it is. Open your mind to living differently in the world. It doesn't need to escalate. It doesn't need to escalate to the point where you're writing a nasty email to your boss and you get fired and then you can't pay your bills next month. It doesn't have to escalate to the point where you beat your child and now they have bruises and they're going to school and, they're calling, the agencies on you. It doesn't have to escalate. This is just one example, but there are escalations in every part of our society. At what point are we going to start doing something with love and compassion? Come on, y'all. My thing is there are 4 children without a father. 4 children without a father. That's where my focus is.
It's just overall a sad situation.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
As more time goes by, as you see more.
Yeah, the details are going to come out.
Details
will come out. I am by no. This is not the court of law. Nobody's on.
It's not.
The details will come out, and
we're not judges, so I mean,
right? That's not our job to judge. That's not my issue.
And
I'm talking about conflict resolution. How do we not let our pride get in the way of, just like you said, Henry, you were like, I was a little tipsy. I was coming out the club. I knew, I shouldn't be doing this.
But you know what, Eileen?
So you took yourself out of the situation.
But you know what, Eileen? What if that guy made that comment too? What if he decided to take it to another level? What do I do? I can say, no, I don't want no drama. But what if he wants drama? What do I do?
Go run behind a bouncer.
I mean... I guess. What if there's no bouncer around? What if it's me and him? What do I do?
You can find me in the club. It's the highlight of the commentary right here is to seek solutions and resolutions that don't lead to negative consequences.
Something that could end up being the good life.
First and foremost, I think if we can't just forget who they are, because every situation is born out of the context and the personal variables that play out. So it would be different, as even Coach Sean Payton said. If this wasn't Uptown, Lower Garden District, Will Smith, what coverage would it have? So I think via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and anywhere else, there's a lot of commentary going on based upon subjective understandings of what happened. Not to take any side because I don't have one, but I think the easiest thing will be to allow a full investigation so that fault or contributory acts can be attributed to those persons who are responsible for them.
We have go ahead.
That's just my last point, but the reality is that we must find ways to not put ourselves in situations or provoke others to engage in activities like such. And I think that's really my culmination of it all, is that I'm going to do everything I can. And I've been practicing this for a while, not to put myself in those situations and not to provoke my brothers and sisters to act irrationally or illogical as I see fit. Mm-hmm. And as Henry just alluded to, sometimes your desire to diffuse a situation will not be met with the same desire. And so you're now forced to take your decision to another level. How much am I trying to avoid the situation at all costs? And so that would be my final point.
Oh, we have the lines lit up. I have Coleman on line 2. Coleman, I got 2 minutes for you. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Thanks for taking my call. Let me give, life experience, and since I'm in the transportation business, that's one of the first things you tell your drivers: you don't get involved in chasing another car, because whatever else happened after that point, you become 100% involved in it. They may have hit you, but this is why you have insurance. Now, you go from auto insurance, now you're dealing with life insurance. And that's a big gap between having auto insurance involvement in an accident and having life insurance involvement in an accident. And the other thing about that is that you have to always be responsible for you. When you step outside of your comfort zone, or what we now say, you get outside of your lane, you changes everything around you, your lifestyle, your family lifestyle. And always, my new thing is that don't let somebody change your way of life, because now the young man lifestyle has changed, and everybody else who is involved in it, lifestyle have changed. And it's something very important that we have to, basically what the guest is saying, is be cognizant and conscious of what goes on around you, and the decision that you make. Make sure you make the right one. So just thanks for taking my call.
Thank you so much, Coleman. You're on point. We have Carl. Oh, Carl, call back. I think I accidentally hung up on him. Carl, call back, please. Quick, we have 3 minutes. Carl, call back. Yeah, but I thought Coleman was on point because, you're going from car insurance to life insurance. I think that sums it up right there.
Two different policy payouts, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we really want to, just open people's mind on, sometimes just take a pause.
But Eileen,
take a breath. Seriously.
So across the board, though, we have continual situations. So the context can't be just in the death of Will Smith.
No, every across the board.
No, I'm just saying that's I think what we're talking. I mean, it is. It's in the everyday lives of how often do we help each other out? How willing are we to to serve others? How willing are we to actually engage in help behaviors to other people versus being selfish? So
I have Carl back on the line. Carl, welcome to The Good Life. Your thoughts on the situation?
Well, yeah, I'm familiar with the beef hotline, and I think y'all may be familiar with that. We got to start working with individuals so they can solve conflict in a nonviolent.
Carl?
People so hot-tempered. So we got to enlarge this beef hotline and begin to teach our individuals and folks how to solve conflict without violence. And it starts real young.
Absolutely.
We got to stop abusing our children and stop creating these climates and get them into treatment where that they can do things like that. We become anesthetized as it relates to violence. And we got to address this public health issue called violence.
Thank you. Absolutely, Carl. Absolutely. And before we go out today, I was actually reading an article, and I'm not going to go all into it, but I was reading an article how video games are really desensitizing our children to violence. So I just want to put that on your mind. Because, my child's been asking for this GTA stuff. I was like, I don't like that game. And then I read this article. I was like, I can't wait to, copy this article and send it to him. I'm going to make him read
all
it.
The Grand Theft Auto.
But, you know what? You are you.
Yeah.
You had a different upbringing. Everybody comes from a different
But Eileen,
situation in life. And wait, I'm going to give you the beef hotline. It's called Squash the Beef Before the Grief. 504-500-1706. 504-500-1706. That's Squash the Beef Before the Grief. If you know somebody that, they have a situation that's getting out of hand, give them the phone number, 504-500-1706. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, there's abounding theories about frustration and aggression, and I don't want anybody to think that a video game is why people engage in aggressive acts. It's the fact that as a society we don't put up the buffers and we don't create enough of the positive interactions to actually make that change. So, can video games and movies be supportive to someone's ideas of such? Because we used to watch the
Terminator.
Right. We used to watch the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote get in.
Smashing.
We used to watch Tom and Jerry, and none of us ever took that to be real. So we can't just all of a sudden. And generations have
I feel like throwing a shoe or dropping a.
Right, I am on somebody, but we can't allow nostalgia from past generations to make us think each generation is worse. But the reality becomes like it's we have to have practices, and we're losing that.
Absolutely. Today's show was about human nature and competitiveness. Y'all open your mind to living differently in the world. Is it really worth it? And especially let's get down to our spouse and our, immediate loving relationships. We don't really need competition in there. We need more cooperation. Live loving relationships, live loving lives, and we will create loving communities. We're out.